Hustle, and Heart, where we confront hard issues like life after prison, addiction, and failure. Here to give you all the jewels you need to treasure your life and motivate you to go after the life you want. I'm your host, William Hustle, and I'm here with my co-host, Big Brother, Big Pat.
What's up?
And we're continuing this Get It Out series. And on this episode, we're just going to talk about, things that's been going on with us the past couple months. And we have a live caller. And this show was created for those to call in and get whatever out that is inside them that need to come out. So what's going on, Big Pat?
Nothing. We've been really hit and miss on the show as of late, and a lot of it has fallen onto me.
We still a team.
We are. But one of the things is your mind really and your heart have to be into something, especially when you're trying to do something like this, where you're putting energy out there to let people know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're all going to have bad days.
Yes.
But, the thing is that if you have a positive attitude, better days are on the way. But I'd be lying if I said that I'm just like living rainbows and butterflies and everything's good, because although I feel like I'm on the right path, yes, and I genuinely try to come at each day with positivity and love, things happen. For instance, lost my uncle, and
condolence,
and shout out Uncle Jack, love you, buddy.
Uncle Jack.
But when that happened, he's 23 years older than me. He died at 68. I'm 46. Or 69. I'm 46. So in my mind, for the first part of this month, from October 1st till about October 7th, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what if I only got 23 years left? I'm sitting here wasting my time. I'm doing a job that, sometimes my heart isn't all the way into. What am I doing? I got to change. I got to do something, because, and you start to get these feelings like, if you don't get out now, then you're never going to have the life that you wanted to have, which is the worst type of thinking that you could possibly.
Yes.
Because it does nothing. You don't produce at work.
Emotional.
And you really start to stand still, because you're
mentally and physically.
You start to have this defeatist attitude where you're in the wrong place, you're doing the wrong thing, you're not in the right. The truth of it is that we have to go through things that our heart isn't into all the time. We have to go through uncomfortable situations. We have
yes.
to, not everything's always going to be exactly how we want it.
Yes.
But if we continue to strive to be the best we can be, and we continue to go after our passions and the things that we really are passionate about,
yes,
then, again, you'll make it through these positions of, these points in your life where you may have to do something that you just don't like. It's ridiculous to say, well, when you have a perfect life, then you don't ever have to do anything you don't like. That's silly, because every day we do things and we have to go through things that, some of us just rather would not. And we feel like our life would be better off without them. But it's just not reality to separate yourself from all those things that just might be uncomfortable to you, or that you just don't like. So circling back to the point that, doing this show, there's a certain energy level that I want to have. And there's certain things that I want to do with the show. I want people to call in. I want to be able to be a sounding board, because Will and myself have the best type of experience, which is life experience. We don't have a college degree in psychology. We don't have a degree in counseling, but we have life experience. This man's been 14 years incarcerated. I'm 25 years a drug addict and an alcoholic, almost dead. And there's something to be said that now we're sitting here talking on this program, trying to just put across the message that love, man, when you love yourself, everything else falls into place. But it all starts with us. It all starts within. It all starts with the thoughts that we feed each day. And, again, this last month I've been feeding some thoughts that have not been productive to anything that I want to do to get ahead. And it's good that I'm talking about it, but I think the main point is, don't think just because we're sitting here doing this show that these aren't issues that still pop up in our
Yes.
life. I mean, we both have to deal with it. I think Will deals with it a little bit better than I do because he comes and does his job every day. I'm hit or miss. Like if my mind's being effed with, or I'm effing with my mind, then I'm on autopilot. I just shut down.
Yeah. The thing about, especially being in sales, we spend a lot of time away from our family, but it's a purpose. And every day I know that I have a purpose, and like you have a purpose.
Yeah.
But I know that if I allow, and you know it, you done seen it, if I allow myself to allow my emotions to surface as much, that's not good for me. And this what I know. So everything, I'm like, even if I don't like it, I have to stay in a certain zone, because me getting emotional is destruction for me in my life.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, that's my biggest downfall is that everything in my life could be going good, making more money than I ever have, or doesn't matter what it is, but then you have that one bad thing that happens, and then it doesn't matter what's going right.
Forget about all the good and right.
Yeah, whatever's going, it doesn't matter what's going right. All I can find is what's wrong. Like
right now.
Yeah, all I can find is
right now.
I want to be off on the weekends. I want to be doing this. I want to be doing that.
Yes.
And you just throw all the good shit right out the door, and you got these blinders on, just looking at what you don't like about life. And that is a very something that we all have to be mindful of, because that is the root cause of pain and trauma and depression and just dysfunctional stuff that will continue to happen in our lives if we feed that and if we allow ourselves to get in those behaviors.
And the thing, like, so here in our industry, the past 45 days, it has been real rough for us. And if we don't sell cars, then we don't make any money. And so it has been real rough for us. And sometimes in sales, right now we're two salesmen. And right now in our industry, if you're at work for days, and our manager just told us, like, you got to let that go. But if we're at work and we don't want a week without selling a car, only thing in our head is we are a week behind from paying our bills, taking care of our responsibilities, and putting money where it needs to go because we didn't sell a car all week. Or you
just worked a week for free.
For free.
Because we're on full commission.
For free. So the mental stress in that, it is something serious, but the thing is, sometimes we could sell 10, 14 cars in a week. And it teaches us, and like Pat say, he may think I'm better, but I have to tell myself every day, I must be like this. But we go through so many mental emotions because we know people, man, that sell 3, 4, 5 cars, and like they don't, you can't make no money selling 3, 4, 5 cars.
No.
And we done
I had a bad, but again, the cool thing is that we're at a place where, and I know we're a little off subject with talking about our job.
We're talking about our life the past 30 days.
Yeah, but I think the cool thing is that you can still sell, maybe instead of, it's not 20, but if you sell 10 to 12, you're still making 6,
you're still making good money.
Yeah, you're still
you know what I mean?
money. But there's always challenges, and there, especially in the business that we're in, it could be a big revolving door, always people coming in, and And then the main thing is just time. You know, when you're trying to put yourself on a different level in life, it takes time.
Yes.
And you have to have patience with yourself, because we live in this instant gratification. We want, everything's got to be right away. Microwave it, make it, and let it get it
but,
done.
Yeah, but we
get it done right now.
Yes, sir.
And if life doesn't happen in the way we want it to, we tend to think that in somehow we're failing.
Yeah,
or
right.
We're at a loss, and that's just another thing I think is just not true.
But it's still more good times than bad.
Yeah,
it's always more good times than bad.
There's always something to be positive about, as far as, just knowing each day that there's people that had plans for today
and didn't wake up.
And there's people that, were supposed to be watching a football game or something tonight while we're doing this podcast, and they're no longer here. It's and
you here to go through something and make it through it.
We had to go through what we went through. The chances of Will and I coming together and collaborating and doing something like this, coming from where we came from, we should have never even crossed paths.
Not at all.
And
especially not coming from the separate parts of the city that we both come from. I'm
from the suburbs of Loveland, and he's from the streets of Cincinnati. And the chances of us crossing paths and coming together to do something like this, it just lets you know.
And building empires.
It lets you know there's a plan. Everything happens for a reason. You have to go through failure. You have to go through pain so that you can appreciate the success, and you can appreciate the actual good things that come your way in life.
The bad things that you made it through to get to the good things.
It makes you just appreciate everything that much more.
So I think we don't want to.
I think we recapped the last 30 days pretty well.
Like real talk.
I do have.
I say let's get to the quote.
I have a quote of the day. Quote of the day.
Quote of the day.
Sam Brown said, "They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Take that advice to heart. Surround yourself with those who push you, cheer for you, challenge you, and love you. Surround yourself with those who believe that the world is a beautiful place, those who are courageous, and those who make you grow. Today, remember that one of the greatest tragedies in life is to lose your own sense of self and accept the version of you that is accepted by everyone else. One life on this earth is all we get, whether is enough or not enough, and the obvious conclusion would seem to be, at the very least, we are fools if we don't live it as fully and bravely and beautifully as we can. Love yourself, live in the moment, and enjoy this beautiful day."
Good. And this show here was really based to get us back in the groove, man, because, we both been going through a lot of things, but, you, like you say, you go through some things, and you believe that you're ready to make, like, major decisions off them things. And our show is Get It Out, and you haven't really been able to get it out because you've been through a lot of things emotionally, like ready to make decisions.
Yeah, I sometimes I start to feel like if there's something else that I know I want to do in life, then I should just jump 2 feet and just do it. But that is very financially irresponsible to do something like that. And especially when you're making a good income where you're at. So the whole thing is to just keep building and continue to build. So that way, when you do jump and you do go and go to there's already something there to jump to.
Yes.
You're not jumping you're not just jumping off a cliff and just hoping that there's a ledge there to catch you. You build that. You build a bridge so that way when you step off, you're going to your next place. Last thing before we get on, I got one of my good friends, Henry, that has been struggling, or he had struggled, almost died of drug addiction. But the last thing is, as we age, we can't do the same things that we used to do. And I'm aging not so gracefully. I find that playing sand volleyball, lifting weights, the things that I've always done and taken for granted. Now I start to have some injuries and, going whitewater rafting. I'm 46 now, and I actually miss work and stuff because my body just shuts down. My lower back shuts down. And that can be one of the most depressing things in the world if you allow it to be.
Yes.
And that's something that another thing that's been a big struggle with me in the last 30 days is just the way that my body responds to what I do now. So it in no way means our lives are over, but it does mean sometimes we have to redefine ourselves. And there's always something else we can do. We may not just be able to play sand volleyball forever, but we can ride a bike. We can go kayaking. We can, there's things that we can do. So don't think that just because we get older and we can't do some of the things we used to do means that our lives are over. It just means
you're meant to do new things.
We have to do new things.
You're meant to do new things.
You do the things you do in your 20s, you do the things you do in your 30s, and then as you get in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you do new things.
And so, like we said, we really did this show to really allow Pat to, he just need to get some things out. And I'm always ready to talk or listen because the show is about talking and listening.
Yeah.
And so right now, we are going to get on the call with
Henry.
Mr. Henry.
Henry.
How we doing?
Hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Good, man.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Henry, really appreciate you coming on. Henry's a longtime friend of mine, and really goes along with everything that we started this show for.
Yes, sir.
We go through pains, traumas. There's things that really have a profound effect on our lives, and sometimes you get to be 40, maybe 50, 60 and never deal with these things and constantly never letting you be your best self. Henry, just wanted to say how thankful I am you came on the show. And
yeah, it's my pleasure. No, not a problem.
But just to start out, I know that there was a lot of stuff and like myself, you struggled with drugs and addiction, and I know it's had some issues in your life as far as legal and out of there as far as relationships, whatever. Looking back, what would you say the main cause of your issues with your whatever pain or trauma? What started it for you that really, I guess, took you down a different path that was more destructive and toxic for you?
I guess I would say it began with abuse trauma that I dealt with as a child.
Yeah.
But it didn't really manifest until, fully at its worst until, I was in my 30s. I was drinking a lot in college and stuff, but there was always, I guess not fully dealing with the childhood trauma made me kind of feel like I wanted to fill a void of some sort.
Right.
And how did you get over the mental aspect of acknowledging that you were still in a place for things to happen to you when you were a child?
How did I get to a place to grow past it?
Yes. Where you like, whoa, I'm at a place where something that happened to me when I was and this was my take on what I just heard from you, that some things happened as a child, but when you got to your 30s, they really manifested. Like, was that when you really did you acknowledge that you were going through things from what had happened to you in your past?
No, I kind of realized it. I realized it younger, but I didn't realize that it could manifest in certain ways. And I think there's other things that come into play as well. There was, the people that I was around.
Right.
But I did the first basically outpatient treatment when I was 25, and so I worked on issues of not knowing my biological father and the issues of the childhood trauma as well.
Yeah.
But still, even though I did work on it, it didn't, and years later, I still found myself in opiate addiction.
It's crazy, isn't it? How I got hit by a grown man for the first time at 8 years old, and it's absolutely crazy how we have these events that happen to us. Sometimes when we're very young, and although we make it past this painful event, we decide to carry that pain with us for decades, and some people never decide to let that go. I can say personally that was probably one of the hardest things that I ever had to actually deal with, was that wound. Would you agree? Like, once you really face it and open it up, and when it's time to heal, sometimes it's a very difficult and it's a tough hill to climb, and I'm sure harder for some than others, but I know in my case it was.
Yeah, it's strange. I can remember being like a teenager thinking, that my life was already, damaged. But then once I got older, it almost didn't seem like the things were related. That, my using drugs didn't seem necessarily related to things that happened to me when I was younger. But it almost becomes like it's subconscious or something like that.
Right.
And it is about kind of like a lot of what you talk about is about really loving yourself.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's different for everybody. I just felt like I went through enough. The slavery to the substances was had become just horrible. And I couldn't continue that.
Right. And I remember when we both went through this at different times too. Like when I first got back going on to meth, you were actually sober, and then when I finally quit, then
I relapsed.
You relapsed, and then that last relapse, man, I really thought that was going to be it, because I know, just looking back from me, it gets to a point where you're like, if this is the best it's going to get, I'm done. I'm out. I'm cashing my chips in if I don't want to have to do this every day. I don't know how close your mindset got to that, but I definitely, from the outside looking in, I was worried, thinking that, because you just get so much stuff starts piling up, legal troubles, this or that it just gets to a point where it's like,
too much
do
weight.
I really want to carry all this shit around, all this weight?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you're right. And there were some things that happened, losing some people that were very close to me.
Yeah.
Really helped me get to another relapse. And then took about a year of that. So I was like, I either need to go to jail, there needs to be a second coming, something's got to give here, because I was just so tired of it.
Right.
Hey, brother. So, the show is called Get It Out, and our motto is, like others who are in the same field, if we can just help one person each show, then we've succeeded. And what can you say to someone who's listening, who has went through possibly the same journey you went through, but made it through it, and is seeing a better way today?
To say to someone who has made it through it,
who's trying to make it through it.
Oh yeah, who has not made it through it yet? Sorry, yeah.
I would say, don't give up. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. You might have to go through some painful, maybe be withdrawals, maybe dealing with, some things, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Things will get better as long as you hang in there.
Yeah.
Believe me, I was horribly sick. And dealing with the death of a stepson and my best friend, and then I've recently lost even more people, and I've just somehow found it easier to deal with. So I don't know. I'm just telling them that things get better. Yeah, as long as you hang in there and let them get better.
You just got to fight.
Hey, can you, Henry? Can you? And man, it's so awesome that you're here talking to me like this now. I'm really one of your biggest fans, man, and I got nothing but love for you. But can you say now that you love yourself and that you love yourself enough to see this thing through? Whereas before, I know that, like we were talking about, it was almost time just to give up.
Right. Yes, I can say that, but it's not progress, not perfection. It's
Yeah.
Not every day is going to be rainbows and puppy dogs. So
Yeah.
you have to take the good with the bad, and the good is always better.
Then and
The
bad.
good things are there and are worth living for. Even if some days don't go great and something, you're going to have bad things that happen. But you don't have to pile more crap on top of it.
Right.
I don't have to pile more crap on top.
That's right.
Because that's really, I always say that's really our only power in this world is how we react to the world around us.
How we react.
And, I think when we all look back on some of our worst times in life, a lot of that is our own doing. I mean, we had the shovel in our hands digging the hole deeper, like you're saying.
We made a choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But brother, we really appreciate you, man. And is it one more jewel you want to drop? You want to drop to the people? You could think about it. You could think about it a minute. One person out there that needs to hear this.
Okay. You can get through it. If I can get through it, you can get through it. And the sickness, the illness, sometimes it's just running from the sickness of the withdrawals,
Yeah.
Once you get through that, there is hope, there is light, there is a happy life that can be lived.
Yes.
Beyond it, for sure.
You just have to fight for it. You just have to fight for it.
You gotta want it.
Yes, sir.
And I love that, Henry, that if you can get through it, anybody can. Because
yes.
You were like myself, and I don't know who was closer, but we were both going down a path that ultimately led to death. Oh
yeah. Well, yeah, Pat, I got really bad. I came from a good home, college educated, all that stuff, and then ended up homeless, living in my car or staying with friends, and I'm using intravenously,
Yeah.
So it was about as bad as it could get.
I know, man. But I'll tell you, it's so awesome that we're able to talk here and talk about this right now.
Yes, it is.
I could easily have been going to your funeral or having to talk to your kid and have it be an after fact. But now we get to go and do things with our kids together and actually being ourselves and not some monster or some other bullshit that we've created. It's just like you said. Get through it, and there are good times ahead, and I look forward to that, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show, Henry.
And,
hey, it was my pleasure, guys.
Hopefully, you'll come back on in the future.
Final words of Henry:
yeah.
If he can make it through it, you can make it through it.
There we go. All right, brother.
All right, guys. Keep up the good work.
All right.
Thanks, man.
You take care. Thank you, brother.
Have a great night.
Yeah, brother.
I love that, dude. You have no idea.
I love when you can hear someone truly giving a truth.
This dude's
because that's the only
dead.
thing that's going to help. That's the only thing that's going to help somebody if you give your truth.
Less than a year ago, this guy's almost dead, and now he's talking to us. So just like there's nothing more that this show needs to encapsulate than that. This whole conversation and that story. that's exactly why I'm doing this. That's exactly why Will and I are sitting here. And I can guarantee you, again, you hear somebody like that, you see someone like myself, you see Will. If we can change,
Anybody can change.
Anybody can change.
Anybody, because we both love what we were doing. That's the difference. I loved what I was doing. So thank you, everyone, for listening to our Get It Out series, where we confront real issues like prison, addiction, failure, and give you the jewels to live a great life and go after what you want. I'm your host, William Hustle, and I'm here with my co-host, Big Pat.
You know.
And feel free to subscribe, and we're going to start coming once again weekly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes we have to fight the things that we are going through in order to get out the things and put it in the form for you all, because we're going through things in order to be able to share the things that we're going through.
Yeah,
so I understand when you be tripping, because he trip a lot.
You don't want to see me when I'm angry, man. Like, you don't want to see me sit here and mope and just talk on this thing. I'm going to do more damage than good. So
yes, facts.
I definitely only want to bring a certain kind of energy to this show.
And I appreciate that.
And that's been our hiatus, but I can guarantee you from here on out, when you see us, you're gonna see that energy and you're gonna feel it, and we're gonna keep bringing this thing to you, weekly.
Remember, no matter what you are going through, when you know who you are, you can be free anywhere. DM us, Pat Hamill, William Laus. Peace. One.